Welcome to Sports Interrogation, bringing you sports without the spin. In tonight's episode we are introducing a new special feature, the real rules of table tennis.
Ever been playing a table tennis match and found your opponent was getting away with murder? While the umpire did nothing about it, chances are that you were following the ITTF official laws, while your opponent and umpire were using the real rules of table tennis.
Doesn't everybody obey the official laws as set out by the ITTF?
Sure they do, and if you believe that, then I have some nice swampland to sell you.
We will begin our series by looking at some of the most important real rules that you must know, the service rules.
I dug up a copy of the official service laws, and we went out on location to ask ping-pong players what the real rules are. Law 2.6.1 states that service should start with the ball resting freely on the open palm of the server's stationary free hand. Sounds simple enough.
Never heard of that rule. Here's how it really is. The serve shall start after the server drops the ball on the table and catches it at least 20 times. Bouncing the ball on the floor is also permissible. On the 20th bounce, the server will throw the ball up, without holding the ball stationary at any time. The ball can be held by the server any way he feels like, in order to allow him to put spin on the ball whenever he needs a cheap point.
That doesn't sound very fair to the opponent.
Fair? Are you crazy? If I wanted a fair contest, I wouldn't have bothered boosting my racket.
Okay, on to the second rule. Law 2.6.2 says that the server shall then project the ball near vertically upwards, without imparting spin, so that it rises at least 16 centimeters after leaving the palm of the free hand and then falls without touching anything before being struck. No way. Here's the real rule. The server shall project the ball upwards in any direction he feels like, before the ball is struck. Sideways, backwards, whatever. As long as the ball doesn't actually go down, it's fine. What about having to throw it at least 16 centimeters up? Yeah, well, 16 centimeters is about 6 inches long, and you know how most guys have problems estimating that. Cut. 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 Law 2.6.3 says, as the ball is falling, the server shall strike it so that it touches first his or her court and then touches directly the receiver's court. In doubles, the ball shall touch successively the right half court of server and receiver. For some strange reason, everybody actually seems to follow the official rule here. I'm not sure why this particular rule is considered more important than the others. Go figure. Oh, except for in doubles, where if the ball bounces anywhere near the center line on the receiver's court, the receiver must immediately catch the ball and call the ball out. Law 2.6.4 states, from the start of service until it is struck, the ball shall be above the level of the playing surface and behind the server's end line, and it shall not be hidden from the receiver by the server or his or her doubles partner or by anything they wear or carry.
The server can't hide the ball from the receiver. Don't make me laugh. Oh, that hurts.
What happened to you?
I called a fault on Ma Long during a big tournament.
And he did that to you?
No, the ITTF did. They don't want umpires to actually enforce the rules. They just want a nice quiet tournament with no controversy.
What makes you say that?
They haven't been able to get the hidden service rule right since around 2001. If it was important to them, they would have fixed it by now, wouldn't they?
Let's look at Law 2.6.5. As soon as the ball has been projected, the server's free arm and hand shall be removed from the space between the ball and the net. The space between the ball and the net is defined by the ball, the net and its indefinite upward extension. Well, that's clear as mud.
Look, it's actually quite simple. As soon as the ball has been projected, the server will pretend to remove his free arm and hand from the space between the ball and the net, and the umpires will pretend to make sure that he is actually doing so.
And the receiver will just have to pretend that he can see the ball at all times, while the spectators will have to pretend that they like watching the receiver constantly make simple-looking mistakes. And the ITTF will pretend that people are coming to watch professional table tennis?
You got it. Want a job with our marketing department?
We are getting close to the end now. Thank goodness. Law 2.6.6 says the following. It is the responsibility of the player to serve so that the umpire or the assistant umpire can be satisfied that he or she complies with the requirements of the laws, and either may decide that a service is incorrect.
No, you have got it wrong. It is the responsibility of the player to get away with anything he can, when it comes to breaking the serving rules, and to complain loudly and bitterly if he actually has an umpire who decides to enforce the official rules. Fortunately, these umpires are rarer than a professional player who doesn't boost. It is the responsibility of the umpire to sit there quietly and avoid making a scene.
What did you do to end up in here?
I was caught smuggling the world's supply of round plastic balls out of China.
That's all you did?
Yeah, well, there are only 3 of them in existence, so they are priceless.
Where did you hide them?
Don't ask if you don't want to know.
Okay. Cut. 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 We are almost at the finish line now. Law 2.6.6.1 states, if either the umpire or the assistant umpire is not sure about the legality of a service, he or she may, on the first occasion in a match, interrupt play and warn the server, but any subsequent service by that player or his or her doubles partner which is not clearly legal shall be considered incorrect. I don't think this law actually made it out of committee. In any case, in the real rules of table tennis, if the umpire or the assistant umpire is not sure about the legality of the serve, they should sit there and say nothing in case they upset the server. I mean, these professionals have spent years learning how to serve the nastiest illegal serves. You cannot just let all that hard work go to waste. Okay, the very last service rule. Thank God. Law 2.6.7, which says, exceptionally, the umpire may relax the requirements for a correct service where he or she is satisfied that compliance is prevented by physical disability.
In the real world, the rule is actually this. Exceptionally, the umpire may decide to call a fault for whatever reason if he is having a bad day and feels a bit grumpy.
Seriously?
Well, almost. When you sit in the umpire's chair, you have almost as much power as when you sit in the captain's chair, although you are a lot less likely to attract any females. Here's a joke for you. What's the difference between the captain of the Enterprise and an umpire who actually calls faults?
I don't know. What is the answer?
One is a fictional brave hero in uniform, and the other is Captain Kirk.
Beam me off, Scouty.
Thank you for that thought-provoking special, Lucy. Coming up after the break on Sports Interrogation. This week's top 10 serve return mistakes in table tennis. Watch players you don't recognize, misread spin you cannot see, for reasons you don't know.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.